Hey guys, what is going on? Lee Sanders here from the RCWR Show. We are live in progress right now as we have our main event match of the night for AEW's All Out pay-per-view event. Sold out arena, jam-packed house. It's been very energetic from this crowd for a majority of the night, but as I'm speaking right now, we are watching Chris Jericho and Hangman Page in the middle of the ring as they just received their proper introductions. We've got the referee giving the instructions here. And man, this should be a really good match. So we're going to try something a little bit new here on this, what we're doing right now, because I never have done a live reaction type of thing while something's happening in progress here. So I'm gonna kind of be talking to you guys and also be reacting to this match at the same time here, but we're definitely gonna have the full pay-per-view recap as soon as this match concludes. Right now, for August 31st, 2019, it's almost 11:30 at night, so I would like to imagine that this match, there's no way this match is going to go up until midnight. Really comes off like they've done a better job with the time management, so to speak. But I'm most curious for those that's going to be watching this maybe via Fight TV or Bleacher Report Live, if it goes off at the same time as the cable and satellite pay-per-view providers. Which brings me to another point. The stuff that went down earlier today with the CM Punk interview with PW Insider's Mike Johnson. We're definitely going to be talking about that as well, as that was one of the main reasons why those that did decide that they wanted to check out the CM Punk interview as part of the whole StarCast package. If there was one thing that really jumped out at a lot of people of that StarCast package, it was the CM Punk interview. I definitely want to hear what he has to say. You really haven't heard anything since the Colt Cabana infamous podcast. There's been little interviews here and there, little bursts here and there, but what's going on? Yeah, to say disappointment in that interview would be an understatement, and that's not being bitter in any type of way, but I'll definitely give you guys the skinny on that in just a hot minute there. Is my audio okay? Am I coming in a little bit too hot for you guys? Hot meaning, is it a bit too loud? If it's so, let me know and I can adjust it a little bit. If it's just right, let me know that as well. Alright, so we got Chris Jericho and Hangman Page underway here. We've got Adam Page sending Chris Jericho into the ropes. Jericho tried to counter with a diving body cross, but Hangman Page was able to catch him in time. Pretty much set him down to the canvas. Jericho's now outside of the ring as Hangman Page had gave him a clothesline over the top of the ropes there. So Hangman Page is off to a pretty good start right now. Shaba! Good. Audio's on point. Good. Jericho's going around the ring trying to regroup himself right now, but Hangman Page is not letting up. And a nice, good, strong chop to the chest. Punch to the face. Hangman Page looking pretty good right now. Both men looking pretty damn good. Jericho coming in with a nice bitch slap to Hangman Page. And here's something that's really, really funny. Remember one of the last times that Hangman Page and Chris Jericho had locked it up, folks? Chris Jericho had gave Page a nice good black eye, nice shiner and everything, and Hangman Page did receive medical treatment for it and everything. But then as he was looking at himself in the mirror one day, he decided, you know what, I don't really want this to heal up totally, because I want to constantly be reminded of what Chris Jericho had did to me. So he purposely, I guess, took the stitches out or whatever and left his eye bruised up and bloodied a bit longer. But they just did a close-up of Hangman Page as I told you about the bitch slap that just went down, and it looks perfect. Looks like a black shiner had never took place at all. Now that's hilarious right there. No markings, no bandage, no nothing. So kayfabe, right? That it is what it is. Jericho now has, looks like he's looking for the walls of Jericho here, but Page is trying desperately to Yeah, there we go. He was able to counter with his legs. Heyman Page got some strong ass legs. He might be small in the chest, might be a little bit small in the waist and arms and all that, but he's got some pretty thick, strong legs, man. And for those of you that might be a little bit curious, as far as entrances of the night, Heyman Page had a pretty good entrance. He literally came out on a horse. He legitimately came out on a real horse. I bullshit you not. So that's pretty fucking awesome right there. Jericho just pretty much had the usual typical entrance. There was nothing spectacular that he did this go round. He's still coming out to his full metal jacket gear or whatever you want to call it. Alright, see what's going on here. And again, we're joining you live right now as the main event match is in progress. Cover, near fall for Heyman Page. Page is looking a little bit frustrated. What is he going to have to do to secure this W and become the first ever AEW World Heavyweight Champion? He's got to really dig down deep. He's got to really dig down. You want it. You got to go for it, man. Taking on the veteran, Chris Jericho. Jericho has done it all. He's seen it all. He's won it all. We just had Chris Jericho try to look for a high-risk maneuver, but no reward, as Heyman Page once again sent him flying over the top rope. Oh, snap. Nice. Nice. Heyman Page actually did a standing running shooting star press from the side apron to Jericho. Didn't get all of it in there, but it still looked pretty damn good. They're doing a replay right now. Actually, wow, I didn't realize that. Okay, so as Heyman Page was doing the standing and running shooting star press, Jericho was actually able to catch him right at the nick of time and hit him with a code breaker. So I'm glad they showed that instant replay and they slowed it down a little bit, because I would have never known that Jericho was actually able to get in a fucking code breaker. It's a really badass spot right there. Heyman Page's parents are actually there in attendance as well, folks, for those of you that are curious. A lot of good positive things so far from what I've been kind of gathering from StarCast. I'm not really seeing too many complaints from folks with regards to this StarCast weekend compared to last year. So, hey, you know, honestly, it's kind of one of those, let's wait and see what happens as far as more feedback to come in. I would like to believe that maybe after All Out is said and done with, maybe more and more people will kind of step up, share their experiences. But the early buzz so far has been pretty good. Alright, so we got Heyman Page. He is gathering himself right now outside of the ring. Jericho is leading the way on the offense. Nice forearm to the face of Page. Jericho's now taking him over into the steel barrier. Just pretty much ran him into it. Abs first. Jericho just having his way with Page right now. There we go. Just bringing in that offense. Jericho's exposing the steel barricade over here. He just removed the banner, the AEW banner off of it. And he's going to work on Heyman Page's left arm, putting it through the steel barrier there. Right in front of Heyman Page's family too, nonetheless. That's a good way to do it. And I gotta tell you, of all the referees that AEW got, and I gotta pick your brains a little bit because I'm still getting familiar with a lot of the names of some of these talents that's on the AEW roster full time. But the only female that AEW has, she's actually the referee for this main event match. I love her work. She does a phenomenal freaking job. Really comes off very believable. She really comes off very poised, very confident in her ability, knows what she's doing. And I tell you, anytime there's some type of a weird little hiccup or whatever, very seldom, I've seen it so far in the few AEW events that they've done so far, but she does a pretty good job, I think, in really making sure everything is on point. So I like her. It's very rare that a referee stands out to me unless they're doing a pretty crappy job, you know, botch a call or something like that, but she's actually pretty damn good here. Jericho just came in with an armbar takedown on Heyman Page. So he's continuing to stay relentless on that left arm. So I like the story that they're telling right here. For those of you that may be a little bit curious, Jericho's looking hitting the classic Jericho pose like back in the day. Jericho looks pretty good. He's still thick, but I want to say maybe about 2 months ago he was looking a lot thicker. But it seems as though he's toned up a little bit, that he's lost a little bit of that weight. I would say, honestly, Jericho looks as though he's lost maybe about 15 pounds. Now, that may not be much to some folks, but 15 pounds actually goes a little bit of a long ways, believe it or not. Let's see. Yeah, Shaba, yeah, she hasn't disappointed yet. She's pretty damn good. I like her. Just her whole body language, the tone, everything about her, I love it. I really, really love it. And the most important and impressive thing that I like about her as a referee is she doesn't do like some referees. At least doesn't make it seem so obvious as far as, okay, now you're going to do a hit, scissor, takedown. You know, she doesn't, she just kind of lets the match breathe. And I like that. Really tries to let the story be about the talents that's in there. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying. You see some referees in some promotions, and it's kind of like they got to get in their sweet spot or whatever. They got to make sure they get in their little 15 minutes or 15 seconds of fame there. Heyman Page looking good as always, for those of you that's a little bit curious. Okay, all right. Jericho coming in with a, I don't know what the hell you call that. Pretty much threw his back onto the stomach of Heyman Page. Just kind of dropped himself. I don't know what the hell you call that move there. Jericho right now he's focusing on the right arm. It's got a nice modified arm bar. Really putting a lot of torque into the wrist and the elbow, the way that he's got the move on. But Heyman Page is slowly getting up to his standing position. All right, now he's coming in with some chops on Jericho, followed with some strikes into the ropes. Jericho hits him with a moonsault. All right, looking good so far. Jericho going in for a cover, and Page kicks out. Pretty good so far. Pretty good match so far. All right. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, for those of you that may be a little bit curious, I think I actually had said Jericho. I'm pretty sure I had said Jericho is the one I can see probably winning this matchup. I personally feel just from a PR marketing standpoint, it should be Jericho. Have yourself a nice, cool household name going into AEW on TNT on October the 2nd. But let me stress, for you big Hangman Page fans out there, if Hangman Page wins tonight, I'm not going to be disappointed at all. If that's the direction that they decide they want to go in, I'm fine with that. But I've always been a sucker for, and longtime listeners know what I'm about to say, when it comes to chasing after a champion, the chase is better than the catch. And I would just love it if it could be Jericho, the established veteran, the guy whose face has been out there everywhere, you name it, whether it's with his band Fozzy, or he's hosting an MTV or VH1 show, or he's involved in some type of a movie or sitcom or whatever, you name it, right? Jericho's pretty much all over the freaking place. Just kind of feels that it makes more sense for your first champion to be hook or by crook typically, preferably. Seems like it makes more sense to have Jericho be that guy and let Page continue to chase after Jericho, you know, and then get the title that way. The chase is better than the catch. What's up, Izzy? It's going good, man. Going good, man. Good main event match so far. Overall, I gotta say the pay-per-view has been pretty good so far. Like I said, we'll dive into the full results as soon as this one pretty much wraps up here. Once again, Heyman Page going in with a standing shooting star press. He connected this time as it was in-house. It was in the ring. Connected with it this time. Looked for a cover. Only got a near fall. You can't help but wonder, you know, kind of going a little color commentating here, but the longer that the match goes, who does this benefit more? Does it benefit the veteran Jericho, or does it benefit Hangman Page since he has more of the stamina, right? He's got age on his side more, being more youthful than Jericho. Jericho just tried to look for his trademark moonsault off the ropes, but Hangman Page was able to counter. Another near fall. Jericho kicks out. But yes, Izzy, you get exactly what I'm saying. Household name, it makes more sense right here. But again, if they decide they want to go with Hangman Page, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. Crowd is still pretty into it, but you can kind of feel in the air from the crowd that it's been a little bit of a long night and they're pretty much ready to call it a night here. I mean, probably one of the cool things about the fact that AEW's All Out event is happening in Chicago is with regards to, see, here's the thing. There is a good transit system that's out there, but it only runs up to a particular time, basically. So hopefully for a lot of these people that's in attendance, they're at some hotels that's nearby. Otherwise, as far as using public transportation, they may be a little bit out of luck depending on where they're staying. So I would imagine tonight it's going to be a really good night for Uber and Lyft. I'm bringing that up because it's 11:40 p.m. right now on the East Coast. So in Chicago's time, not too bad. Chicago's time is 10:39 right now. Because remember, in Chicago, East Coast wise, Chicago, they're basically an hour behind. So, I mean, assuming that this can wrap up before 11 o'clock their time, people should be able to catch that last, I don't know, train or bus or whatever it is. Nah, no problem, Johnny. Happy to help, man. Happy to help. If you guys like a little bit more of this, I definitely would have no problem doing more live play-by-play reactions for you guys here. So Hangman Page is gathering himself right now as Jericho once again is outside of the ring. He's trying to recoup a little bit. See a little bit of blood coming from the forehead of Jericho. It doesn't look like it's a blade job. It looks like something legit actually happened. I'm not sure how, but he's gushing pretty badly here. I actually got to get a better close-up to see if it was in fact a blade job or not, but it's not excessive bleeding like he bladed himself so bad that he's just bleeding profusely, but I can kind of see it now. It kind of looks like maybe it was a blade job. And one of the AEW medical personnels, they are putting on a pair of gloves, and Jericho just went past them. Hangman Page smells blood. He's literally coming up behind Jericho here. So it's almost kind of a eye for an eye, okay? So definitely a planned spot, because I actually was able to see Jericho's face a bit more. It's the left side of his face. It looks like a serious blade job, folks. A serious blade job. Because now he's really gushing like a fucking pig. And I wouldn't be surprised if what really had happened as Jericho was kind of walking around there, maybe he was trying to do what he could with his hands, because he did keep touching the left side of his face. I wouldn't be surprised if Jericho wasn't really maybe that pleased with the amount of blood that was profusely coming out. Well, not profusely, but slowly coming out. And if maybe he kind of sabotaged it a little bit more to really get that crimson red. Hangman Page, he's having his way with Jericho. He wants to continue getting on him, but the referee is stepping in, trying to give Jericho a little bit of a break. But Page is coming right in, just hit him with an elbow strike. Referees letting Hangman Page go ahead and get in there. But the way the referee is acting is almost as if, hey, if you don't give Jericho a chance to regroup himself here, I'm going to disqualify you, as he's stomping a mud hole in his ass right now. So she's trying to check on Jericho. Jericho's not letting up. Yeah, man. Freaking Jericho's, both of his eyes now are covered in red. I mean, it almost looks like he's trying to go for the Robin and Batman look, right? It looks like he's trying to go for the Robin Nightwing look. He's like a freaking badger right now with his eyes, man. All right, so Jericho's now back on the offense here. Couple of strikes to the back of Hangman Page. headbutt to Page. Looking for a high-risk maneuver here on the top rope as Jericho's trying to bring Page along. What is he trying to go for? Looks like he's trying to go for maybe a super backplex here. What's going on? They're still fighting, punching each other in the abdomen region. All right, see what they're doing here. All right, who's going to get it? Okay, Page now has the upper hand. Strike to the face. Jericho. Okay, now both men. Nice. So Hangman Page just connected with a swinging neck breaker from the top rope inside the ring. Looking for another pin attempt. No good. Jericho just kicked out. No good. Again, put your color commentator hat on and you're listening to JR and them. You just got to put that question out there. Who does the match benefit more the longer the match goes? Does it benefit the veteran or does it benefit the younger guy, the more hungrier guy, right? Page now coming in with the knee strikes to the face of Jericho. He is really, really working that face. Really working it. Jericho looks like he's saying, please, no more. No mas, please. No more. But Page ain't having any of it. Nice. Page just connected with a discus punch. Not a clothesline, a discus punch. Jericho, man, he should be laid out seeing stars right now. I'm loving the psychology of this match so far. Match has been pretty good here. All right, Page, what are you going for here, brother? What are you going for here, man? He just tried to go for... Ooh, looked like he just tried to go for a back suplex, but Jericho was able to counter. Knee strike there. Knee strike there to the abdomen region of Page. Page is now fighting outside of the ring apron here. Jericho looked like maybe he's trying to skin the cat here. What's he? Oh, Jericho just tried to look for his trifecta move going into the corner of the ropes and that jump kick. Page just countered. Page sees an opening here. Ooh, nice. Page just came back in the ring with a flip and running clothesline. Jericho's laid out. Can't procrastinate, young man. Stay on him. All right, what you going for here? He's picking him up. Counter. Jericho's looking for the walls. Walls. All right. Got that torque in. He's got that torque in. He's got it all in there. Only thing missing is Jericho pretty much sitting down on his ass. Come on. Almost centered. Almost centered. It's looking good though, man. Yeah, that triangle drop kick, Shaba. That's exactly what Jericho was trying to look for there. Let's see here. It's putting a little bit more torque in there. Jericho's going to have to let up, though, because if you just going off of the psychology, if Jericho is bleeding that profusely, it's going to be a lot of blood getting in his eyes. You'd like to believe at some point, because of the amount of blood going in his eyes, just psychology talk-wise, he's going to have to eventually let go of that hold, wipe the blood off his eyes, and then... But nah, it looks like the story they're telling right here is Page not tapping out, Page dragging his way to the bottom rope to break that submission hold temporarily. Oh, Jericho just pushed the female referee. She's getting right back in his face here. Oh, yeah, she's saying, nah. Who the hell you think you are? No. Oh, I'm loving this. They missed a good opportunity right there. Referee should have been like, you're going to get it. That would have been nice. All right. Yeah, it may have. Jericho spending all that time chewing the fat with the referee there. That gave Hangman Page a chance to rebound there, man. Oh, wow. Oh, nice. Oh, man. Page just connected with a moonsault outside of the ring to Jericho. Heard a nice little thud just now here. Let's look at this moonsault again here. All right, Jericho didn't get all of it. He didn't get all of it. Sounds like maybe Hangman Page's knee had hit the steel ramp area there after he did that moonsault. So Page just dragged Jericho in the middle of the ring. He's now outside of the outside of the apron. He was looking for another high-risk maneuver, but Jericho just connected with a code breaker out of nowhere. 2 count. Man, Jericho looks bad, man. Jericho is bleeding badly, dude. Seriously, I have not seen, and what's really kind of funny is Jericho's hair is now starting to turn red, and I'm having flashbacks to that time when Jericho's hair, remember in WWE when Jericho had the red frosty tips at the end of his hair there? I mean, that blood is really in his hair right now, man. I would say the front scalp area and definitely a little bit towards the sides, it's a bit red, but it's mainly around the crown area where it's nice colorful red there. Page once again with a nice modified spin discus clothesline there. You got to follow up, man. Come on. Try to look for another running shooting star press, but Jericho just got his knees up in time. Jericho's waiting for Page to turn around. Looks like he's looking for another code breaker, and Page caught him. But what's he looking for? Alabama slam? Nope. Counter. That kick out. Near fall there. What's Jericho looking for? Another counter here. Another Alabama slam? What the hell was that? 2 near fall. I don't know what that move was called. I have no idea what the hell that was called. I don't know if that was a modified reversal pile driver. I don't know what the hell that was. Those of you that's watching, I need your help on that one. Something that Page likes to bust out from time to time. Looks like he's getting ready to do Crash Holly's Alabama slam, but he turns it into like a back pile driver, basically. All right, so he's outside the apron here, teasing Jericho to get up. All right, he just did another backflip running clothesline. He's picking up Jericho now, and he's trying to look for that move I just said, but Jericho is now countering. Backslide there. Page was trying to go for it again, looking for some type of an offensive maneuver. Jericho strikes, hitting him in the face, going for the cover. 3 count. And a 3 count. The Deadeye, easy. Deadeye, okay. 3 count, that's it. Chris Jericho is your new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Let's watch that again. I want to see that last little bit of a sequence there. Let's look at that one more time here, because that was a nice little sequence what they did there. Okay, so Page once again, he picked him up, try to look for the Deadeye. Jericho counters, looking for the backslide, but Page gets out, looks for a spinning clothesline, but Jericho connects, hits him with a clothesline of his own. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, and 3. Wow. So no code breaker, no walls of Jericho, no Judas or whatever you want to call it. That came out of nowhere as far as how a Jericho match may end if he's going to be the one that's going to win it, right? So good match though. Now, if you ask me, Lee, was that a botch by chance? I'm not picking up that vibe. If you were to pick my brain a little further and ask me, hey, do you think we might hear some type of a story where, you know, they were kind of pressed for time and they just pretty much said, wrap it up, send it home? I don't think so. It really looks like they were able to fully tell the story that they had needed to tell. I mean, the only thing that kind of makes a little bit of sense to me is maybe because of the cable satellite providers, maybe there might be a cutoff there. So again, for those of you that's maybe watching the pay-per-view via Fight TV, if it continues, let us know so we can see what all, or know what all had came about from the pay-per-view. But Jericho's got the championship. We're still with the pay-per-view right now. All right, now he's got medical personnel checking in with him. It's actually a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. It's a damn good match. One thing that was kind of obvious during this match, the longer that it had went, and that's Jericho starting to get that Shawn Michaels hair, man. I'm not picking on the man. Jericho's been one of my favorites for a long time, but his hair is really starting to thin out there around the crown area towards the top. It was really obvious tonight, man. So all that money that Jericho's got, you can't help but wonder if maybe he's going to pull a freaking... who's the guy from Bret Michaels? You can't help but wonder if he's maybe going to pull a Bret Michaels from Poison, right? And maybe get some plugs. Ain't nothing wrong with getting some plugs. Well, hell, money Jericho's making, he can easily go get some freaking what? I've heard bad things about Bosley, so I'm not going to even say Bosley, but he could probably get some type of a transplant done and, either shave that area and wear a headband for a little bit, right? And you know what? I don't think I've yet to see Jericho have that type of match as long as I've been watching him. And maybe you guys can help me fill in the blanks, but has Jericho ever done a hair match? As long as I've been watching Jericho has never done a hair match. So that would be a great opportunity for him if he's interested in getting the transplant or whatever, the hair follicles and all that. That'd be a good way for him to... So the pay-per-view's going off. Jericho's got the title. He is at the stage ramp area, holding that championship up high. Looks good on you, brother. Looks good on you. Yeah, Jericho is the man. What did I just say right before that had wrapped up? I just said the chase is better than the catch. Did I not just say that? So now you can definitely go on ahead and you can have freaking Hangman Page if you want it to be Hangman Page. You can continue to have Hangman Page be the one to chase after Jericho. That way the story that you can tell, at least for the first, I honestly feel the story you could tell for the next 3 months, you could let it be a case where Hangman Page tries to continue to chase after Page, but then again, you could kind of make the argument, well, wait a minute. Based on what you just described, Lee, there was no controversy whatsoever and how that match had ended. So how exactly would you have Page get right back in there in the title picture when there's other people that's coming up that could probably make the argument, well, wait a minute, man, my record right now, if anybody should get another opportunity, it should be me. What's up, right? So kind of some food for thought right there. We'll come on back to that. All right, so right now, one thing I want to do while we got a little bit of a brief intermission, I do want to welcome those of you that's joining us right now. What you pretty much had caught was the tail end of me giving play-by-play of what was going on with that main event match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. We came on a couple of minutes early. What I'm going to do now is just put out a quick little tweet and basically just let people know that we are live right now. And I think I can actually, because I think the last thing I did was a copy paste of that. Yes, I did. And I also want to go on ahead and poll everybody. What did you think of the pay-per-view? Vote now. So we'll just put that out there. And I'll just say live now. Say live now. Talking. Live now. And we'll just say Fall Out. Come join. So if you guys want to grab a quick drink or what have you, want to quickly go use the bathroom, you can do that. I'm going to be ready to go in about 2 minutes. I just want to put all this out there. I appreciate everybody's patience here. I'll try to do this as quick as I can. And we'll get on with the rest of the show here. I got my notes. I'm feeling good, man. See here. Staying in the middle. Yep, those are good polling options. So we'll leave it right there. And let's get that out. right, so we got that out. And I'm going to give the same polling options up on YouTube right now for you guys that want to cast your vote. And if you want to cast your vote on the YouTube channel, you can go on over and click on the Communities tab. Click on the Communities tab, and you'll be able to see it that way. Give me a second here, though. Let me post this up here. All right. And I'll give you guys pretty much the same options. We'll say thumbs up. We'll give you guys a thumbs down. We'll give you guys a staying in the middle. And I will give you guys didn't watch. All right. We'll put that up. All right. And where's AEW? Where is AEW? Right. Okay. Damn, AEW's official Twitter page isn't even caught up yet, man. They haven't even officially put out the tweet about Jericho winning the championship there. Need to hurry up and get caught up there. People gonna want to know who won. Let's see here. Leave that right there. All right, let's leave that right there. Get that bad boy on out there already. All right. All right, guys. Hang on. We're almost ready. All right. Get this. All right. So on that note, we can go ahead and we can start the show. I'm going to be silent for about 5 seconds. I want there to be a little bit of dead space, so I pretty much know where I need to edit when we get ready to do the show. Right. So countdown 3, 2, and 1. All right, and welcome, guys. For those of you that are checking out the show right now, you're checking it out live on demand or on the downloads. It's a special edition of the RCWR Show. We are covering AEW's All Out pay-per-view event Fallout for August. Oh no, it's no longer August. It just struck midnight, literally just now, as we're recording this. It is now September 1st, 2019. The pay-per-view just went off not that long ago. However, if you're in Chicago, not too shabby. If you're in Chicago, it's pretty much 11 o'clock right now. We're going to talk about the pay-per-view event. We're also going to start off by talking about that StarCast event that had came about with CM Punk. There was a lot of cool different things that one could have checked out from StarCast this weekend, but I know the number one thing that was making a lot of people say, okay, you know what, I want to see what's going on here, the CM Punk thing. The CM Punk thing, it did happen earlier today. And let me really set this up properly for you guys. And I do, by the way, appreciate those of you that's checking out the stream right now. If you're new, welcome. Been covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You have not subscribed? Do subscribe so you don't miss out on all the great content that comes your way on a weekly basis. The CM Punk StarCast event, where to begin with that? Let's first start off with the fact that some people may have felt a little bit misled. And what I mean by that is, at first, you hear, hey, you want to check out CM Punk, no holds barred. You want to check out this pipe bomb of whatever's going to be happening with this interview he's going to be giving on Saturday? Yeah. Well, hop on over to Fight TV and pay us $40 bucks, right? Pay us $40 and you'll be able to. But then there was apparently separate packages where if you didn't want to check out StarCast, you could just check out a separate show from that whole StarCast package. So if you just wanted to maybe check out Joey Janela's, Palooza thing, that's fine. If you wanted to check out Cock of Joey Ryan, whatever the hell he called that thing, you could have did that as well. So you get it. But then something that kind of kicked in that a lot of people weren't really aware about, I would say midweek of this week was, say what? Cable satellite providers you had to check, depending on who your provider was, you were able to check out the CM Punk thing on there, and they wanted $15. So you're going, wow, sounds like a pretty good deal. That's a nice little steal, and I'm probably going to get something that's going to be about 2 hours. Okay, yeah, I'm down with that. That's cool. Let's do that. Now, the reason why I'm going on and on and on about this, you talk about a huge miscommunication between whatever AEW was trying to, however they negotiated with the cable satellite providers. Somehow between AEW and the cable satellite providers, there was a huge miscommunication on how much of the CM Punk interview they were going to be showing on the cable and satellite outlets. Point being, I'm watching this, and shout out to those of you that was kicking back with me. We did a private hangout party for the CM Punk stream, and we all laughed our asses off because the thing came on at, I remember it was 1 o'clock that it came on, and 2:30 it abruptly ended. And when I say abruptly ended, let me just go in quick detail about that. So, Mike Johnson of PW Insider, he was the one that conducted the interview with CM Punk. I'll get to Mike Johnson in a hot second. But Mike Johnson asks a question, CM Punk answers it basically, and then there's like this transition to, I guess, a graphic or whatever of Punk, and then it goes to Mark Madden. I can't think of the name of the other guy, and they pretty much say, hey, that's it for, the CM Punk, pipe bomb interview. If you want to see more as the conversation continues, hop on over to Fight TV. I bullshit you not. That's pretty much how it ended. So when you hear that, right? First thing that's clicking in your mind is like, well, wait a minute here, man. Wait a minute. I just paid $15 for this from my respected cable satellite provider. And you're telling me that in order to watch the rest, I've got to go outside my cable or satellite provider to some other place where I'm going to have to pay even more money? And then on top of that, you're expecting me to buy the pay-per-view, right? Wow. If that doesn't make me feel like I'm being fucked without the lubricant, excuse the hell out of me. Like, what the hell? So, as you would imagine, people upset. And there definitely, I was interacting with a couple of people, private messaging and all that. There was a decent amount of people that were upset because you had those that did check it out through the respected cable satellite providers. Now, some people were saying, well, it's weird because I was able to order it, but when it came time for me to watch, it was kind of like I got a refund or something because what I ordered, I pressed it, and like I normally would order something with my remote, and when I went in to try to watch it, it didn't kick in. It ain't letting me watch it. So I don't know what the hell's going on. It's like, okay. But you had other people, and I definitely was one of those people that successfully was able to order the pay-per-view or the CM Punk interview pay-per-view event. And like I said, it abruptly cut off after about 90 minutes. So you're like, what the fuck? And so my girl was watching it with me because you longtime listeners, y'all know, we did a show about it. We had saw CM Punk last year at the Pro Wrestling Tea Store. That was an awesome meet and greet and everything. And not to mention, you didn't have to pay as much money as what these folks had did at his joint Saturday here. But I said to my girl, yeah, we need to get our money back because we paid to see all of it. Not we're only going to see 75% or whatever, and that's it. Like, give us the whole fucking show. What the hell? So we had actually got on the phone and talked to Verizon, told them what was up. And Verizon apologized. They were like, so it ended like this. And I'm telling you this, it's part of the whole AEW package. For those of you that can't connect the dots and you're wondering, why is he going on and on about CM Punk? Well, one, A lot of people wondering what was going on with CM Punk. Was he going to be at this event? Was he going to be working for them and all that other shit? And this was pretty much like the appetizer before the All Out pay-per-view, right? So that's why we're going on and on about the CM Punk thing. You can't really ignore that without bringing up the other, basically, right? You just can't. So, talked to Verizon about it, and they were very apologetic. And the person I was talking to, she didn't like the practice herself. She's like, okay, that doesn't, I totally understand the frustration. And I told her, I said, look, you may want to prepare yourself. I said, you could have a long day or a long weekend, because there's probably going to be a lot more people that's going to be calling in, and they're going to be calling in with these complaints. So remember, you kind of heard it here first. Don't be too surprised if there's going to be a lot of reports out there on the dirt sheets and wrestling websites and all that of, hey, a lot of people had called and, wanted their refunds because they didn't get to see all of CM Punk thing. And so I got that credited back, and that pretty much was it. Luckily, I was able to check out a stream from a friend and see the rest of it in its entirety. And it did run. I want to say at that point it probably ran an additional, it felt like 40 minutes. Now, let's get into that whole interview with Mike Johnson and everything like that. And for those of you that did watch it, I'm sure you all would definitely agree with me. That CM Punk interview, of all the interviews that I have heard over the years, that was... And this ain't me being bitter. This ain't me being jealous. Nothing like that. The way I'm coming at this is just strictly from a listener standpoint. I'm also looking at it from a media standpoint. I'm also putting on my thinking hat as a person that has had the opportunities over the years since 2011 to interview many people, many big names. All right, I'm not bragging. I'm just speaking the truth. That's all. This was one of the most fluffiest of fluffiest interviews I have ever heard that was ever conducted. All right. And a lot of softball questions, loads of softball questions. I mean, my God, it felt like out of 100%, 25 to 35% of it was about CM Punk's movie career and what movie projects maybe he should try to get himself involved in. And Mike Johnson was really steering that a couple of points during this whole thing. And you couldn't help but scratch your head and go, well, wait a minute. And those of you that know about Mike Johnson and his work, you couldn't help but go, well, wait a minute, Mike Johnson. Dude, you work for PW Insider. You're supposed to be about pro wrestling and all that. What's up with all this talk about freaking movies and all this other stuff? What, are you trying to branch out or something? You trying to get yourself a job with sci-fi, right? And set yourself up so that maybe eventually you go to Comic-Con or something and get in talking to the people of The Walking Dead? Like what's going on? What's all this talk about movies and shit, right? It'd be one thing if it's about projects tied in the wrestling or whatever, but it was way just too much going out there and everything. But all of his questions were just fluffy as hell. One thing, and look, this isn't me being a dick. There's a lot of people that saw this that'll tell you the same thing. A lot of the questions that was being asked of CM Punk, recycled stories. Stuff that you haven't already heard him talk about over the years, or maybe another wrestler had talked about their interactions with Punk, and oh yeah, and Punk pretty much just kind of confirming it. Now, if you want to make the argument, well, it was nice to hear Punk in his own words either deny or confirm the story, then okay, yeah, I can kind of meet you a little bit halfway. But a lot of the stuff that he had put out there, again, questions that Mike Johnson was asking, was very recycled. For people that, and think about the graphics, the way that everything was hyped up about this whole CM Punk thing. We don't know what he's gonna say. Oh my God, he's got a live microphone. Oh my God, he's the king of pipe bombs. He's got the silver tongue. What is CM Punk gonna say? Find out this Saturday. Check it out on Fight TV or on pay-per-view. You're like, oh wow, yeah, what is he gonna say? This is gonna be good. And as far as sound bites or, oh wow, there was nothing, sadly. There was sadly nothing. Probably the one thing that made me raise an eyebrow the most during the Punk interview was when Mike Johnson, and it also felt like Mike Johnson was trying to get retribution for Triple H carrying him in the NXT conference call. It's now infamous. If you guys don't know anything about that, Google or Bing Triple H Mike Johnson NXT call. And Triple H pretty much had ripped this dude a new you-know-what, okay? And it just had so many of us just laughing our asses off the way it was conducted. But it felt like many times during this interview that Johnson had with Punk that he was looking for his opportunities to take whatever little dig he could at the WWE. And there were definitely a couple of times where even the fans kind of groaned like, dude, like, what the fuck, man? And, you know, Mike could kind of feel that tension or that little bit of what's the right word I'm looking for? Where he was feeling a little bit of friction. I guess I'll go with that word. A little bit of friction, a little bit of a backdraft from the crowd. And he's quickly trying to, you know, oh, people, what I mean, you know, it was kind of like one of those type of deals. And I was talking to a lot of people in the Discord chat. And I basically said, look, man, he picked, because that was the terminology used, and CM Punk did confirm that he handpicked Mike Johnson to conduct the interview. Basically, they used to do a whole lot of bus rides together back in the day or whatever, and Punk just pretty much thought that he was always a cool dude. Okay, you know what? That's nice, but at the same time, let's call it for what it was worth. You wanted to make sure you had the most safest interviews that you could possibly get, right? If that would have been a Sean Oliver of Kayfabe Commentaries, hell, if that would have been a Rob Feinstein of RF Video, say whatever you want about Rob Feinstein, but at least when it comes to Rob Feinstein and these interviews, this man is a freaking encyclopedia. He puts in the freaking time, he puts in the freaking work, and he does whatever he needs to do to be prepared, and he does go there with the questions, right? You know, if you could have put him in there, or hell, I saw some people say, well, look, he doesn't, you know, they keep saying that AEW and StarCast, you know, there's no relation basically, right? It just so happens that StarCast is happening AEW weekend, right? But it's separate. That's what we keep hearing, right? Okay, well, how about someone like Jim Cornette? Jim Cornette is another one that, right? Think about that. How badass is that? You have one of the most polarizing figures in the sport of professional wrestling in a CM Punk matched up against one of the most outspoken rebels and greatest managers and professional wrestling that has just continued to have social media talk about him, you know, pretty much year in and year out. I mean, you want to talk about somebody that is really a good master of social media, and Jim Cornette, and really being able to come in with the questions would have been fucking memorable. But there was nothing memorable about what occurred here with Johnson and Punk. For example, for those of you that are maybe, hey, by chance, Lee, did the topic of Colt Cabana get brought up? You know, does he see a time where maybe he and Cabana will maybe patch things up? Or no, nothing about Cabana was brought up. Everything that pretty much was rehashed during Punk's podcast, that definitely was touched upon. The story about Tony Atlas seeing Punk, you know, back when he was the ECW champion, taping up his wrist. That story was brought up again, but it was nice hearing Punk go over the story. He had some really good impersonations of Harley Race, Triple H, Dusty Rhodes. Those were pretty spot on, especially the Triple H one. The Triple H one was really, really the one that had me chuckling the most. He even did a really great Stone Cold Steve Austin impression that really, really had me rolling, right? But the one thing that did make me raise an eyebrow was when Mike Johnson brought up the fact that, hey, look, you know, you had the health problems that you were having, and, you know, you wanted to take some time off and everything, and, you know, now you kind of see how WWE did you. You fast forward, and now wrestlers are able to take time off from the WWE. You know, if they need a vacation or whatever, they're able to do that. Now, do you feel that with them able to do what they're able to do, that it's the end result of what you pretty much had spearheaded? And CM Punk was just lost for words for like about 5 minutes because he couldn't believe what he was hearing, that now these guys are able to take vacations, they're able to take time off and all this shit. And he thought that Mike was ribbing him, and you kind of felt like at first, wait a minute, they kind of, is this something they worked out maybe backstage? But it wasn't the case at all. It was legitimately Punk in shock and just, wow. So they're really, it's like, okay, that's crazy. Of course, topic was brought up about Punk, would he, if WWE were to call him tomorrow, would he listen to them? And he pretty much had to say, look, I no longer have bitter feelings towards them, but no, I'm not interested in doing anything with them. I'm content where I'm at right now in my life. Talk was also brought up about, hey, report was out there that you may be interested in working with Fox, particularly on FS1, to talk about the WWE brand. Any truth to that? He shot that down. Also, the itch to get back in pro wrestling. Does he miss it? All that. He does talk that there is some elements that he misses about it, but he also says, look, I'm 40 years old. And pretty much the whole gist of that was, no, I still love it. I respect it, but no, I'm content where I am in my life right now. Of course, AEW was brought up. Is he doing anything with AEW? Well, first of all, for CM Punk to even say he's doing something at AEW, why would he admit that during a panel or interview or whatever you want to call it? Why would he admit that? That doesn't make any sense. So that question, I just felt that was really irrelevant. That was kind of a silly question to ask when it was all said and done. But yes, a lot of fluff questions that was thrown out there. And I pretty much, unless there's something I'm missing, that those of you that saw the CM Punk interview, unless there's something that I'm missing that, he did go in this direction as well, there's really nothing else. So that was pretty much it. I just saved you guys on what was a long, drawn-out interview that went, so when my stream ended, it was after 90 minutes, and they pretty much I think they went like 3 hours and maybe 15 minutes or some shit like that. Just complete fucking bullshit. And for those of you that's like, well, Lee, did they at least open up the floor so that people that had questions could ask Punk their questions? Fuck no. That was the greatest travesty of it all, because like anybody that's made their rounds going to Comic-Con events or what have you, and you're meeting your favorite celebrity or whatever, usually when you go in on a panel and you're listening to them with a special moderator or whatever, which is what Johnson had served as, usually it's okay, all right, so if it's a 90-minute time limit, right, okay, so the moderator is going to talk to the guests for maybe 60 of those minutes, and then open up the floor to the special guest, and then open up the floor to the fans in attendance for any questions. They didn't even do that, and it was weird because at one point, the way it was getting ready to end, Punk said something along the lines of, I hope everybody had a good time, and I hope a lot of you guys had found some of the topics that was brought up, my answers to some of it. I hope you all found it entertaining and it was enjoyable. You had a good time, of course. I think he said something along the lines of, if you want to throw an egg in my face or if you want to give me a pipe bomb, you could definitely do that right now. And, Mike Johnson just pretty much, that was it. He just pretty much, I don't know if they maybe gave him a hard cutoff. No, we have to go. I don't know if it was one of those type of deals, but the fact that it went as long as it did and there was no questions from the audience, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, really think about math for a second here. You had people that paid anywhere I think they paid like about $158 to get in average on the CM Punk meet and greet, and then you had to pay a fee just to get in the StarCast alone. So depending on if you were going for that whole weekend or a VIP or a gold package and all that, you could have been shelling out anywhere between $300 to maybe, I would say, $300 to maybe $700 just to try to get in on the CM Punk thing. So for them to be spending all that money, and keep in mind they're traveling from all walks of the world and they're not able to get in a question.
Now, some people will say, well, that's what the fucking autograph and that's what the photo op is for. Not really. Pretty much, how you doing? Take the picture. How you doing? A little side chatter, get the autograph, move it along. It was very disappointing. Very disappointing. Had to get that out the way before we really dived all in on the talk of StarCast. So now that that's in the books, now we can officially talk about the AEW All Out pay-per-view event. Overall, I would have to say it was a good pay-per-view event. It was. I enjoyed it. The crowd, I'm telling you, from the minute that the pre-show, pretty much, the crowd was very energetic. I mean, it was very infectious, too. You could feel that legit the crowd was very excited to be there. They felt like they were in on some type of a special magical moment, if you will, right? And the way that plays out on television, and you know, you're sitting there, you're watching it, you like the way that they're feeling and they're coming off, and it makes you feel good as well. You know, to follow up on some of the talk that some of my colleagues have had to say, especially with regards to, you know, AEW really could be one of those type of promotions that's geared towards the millennials. I gotta tell you, as far as looking at the age demographics, the gender demographics for a lot of the fans that were in attendance tonight for this event, it was a lot of males, which should be a no-brainer, okay? It was a lot of males. It kind of came off as though maybe the youngest, as far as males, I won't say youngest. Let me not go in that route. What I will say, as far as like typical age range, kind of looked to me like maybe it was 25 to, I would say, 40. It kind of looked like it was somewhere in that age demographic, but it was a majority of males. I mean, they panned out so many times in the crowds, you just couldn't, hey, males, okay, males, hey, all right, males, hey, great, hey, more males, okay, great, hey, 2 females, cool, pan back out, more males, okay, cool, pan back out, oh, 3 females, cool. So it kind of felt like 92% males and put the rest there, sprinkling your females, basically. There was no kids. I did not see any kids. If there were kids, I don't know anything about it. I didn't see any kids, at least from the camera angles that they kept showing us tonight. I did not freaking see it. So, pre-show. Let's kick things off with the pre-show. The pre-show, it was the Casino Royale. It's actually pretty good. It got the full list of the participants that had took place in that one here. I told you guys I took some really good notes tonight, though. Good notes tonight at our pre-show match. All right, so our Casino Royale, kicking things off, it was the Librarian, Leva Bates, Fabi Apache, Priscilla Kelly, Nyla Rose, Shalandra Royale. They all had pretty much entered. And I'm going to give you the full list of the participants, and we'll pretty much go from there, right? We don't need to spend a whole lot of time on this particular match, not being disrespectful to the ladies. It's just we don't need to go over the nook and crannies and the crumbs and the ingredients. We don't need to do all that. But your full participants, it was Leva Bates, Fabi Apache, Priscilla Kelly, Nyla Rose, Shalandra Royale, Penelope Ford, Shaza McKenzie, Shady Gibbs, Big Swole. And if Big Swole had looked a little bit familiar to you guys, she should, because she had participated in the Mae Young Classic recently. And also, she had, and on top of the Mae Young Classic, she recently had won a championship at an all-women's promotion. It was the event that they did. It was called the Summit. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name of the championship that she recently won. But if she kind of looked a little bit familiar to you all, that's why. Britt Baker was also involved as well, followed up by Tennille Dashwood. Shout out to Tennille Dashwood. I know she was having some health problems a couple of months ago, and you know now she's back on the saddle again, ready to rock and roll. Look, if you're a big fan of Tennille Dashwood, you got a double dose of her this weekend because she had also made her Impact Wrestling debut, if you want to call it that, at least out in Mexico. She had appeared and she had faced, rather it was a confrontation. She had confronted Taya Valkyrie for that Knockouts Championship because she wants her opportunity and everything. And it was funny because a lot of people, I was hanging out with people in the Twitch stream watching Impact on Friday night, and Taya Valkyrie was going on and on and on about how there was going to be an opponent that she handpicked because she considered him to be the baddest person that's out there or whatever. And the person that Taya ended up facing was freaking Big Mommy. And a lot of people were under the impression, especially the commentators, they were under the impression maybe it was going to be Tennille Dashwood, but she kind of dodged Tennille Dashwood yet again. Tennille was looking pretty fucking phenomenal here tonight. Eva Lise Velez, shout out to Eva Lise Velez, former RCWR Show guest, fucking badass. I know she was, I can only imagine how ecstatic she was that she was able to do this, right? Because she was in the whole legal problem, mumbo jumbo bullshit there with Lucha Underground and all that. So I was really happy to see her be part of this really cool event. And hopefully it's a taste of things to come later down the road with her and her involvement with AEW. Bea Presley, Brandy Rhodes, Awesome Khan were also in there as well. And you had Allie, Nicole Savoy, Teal Piper, the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer, the late Roddy Piper. And shout out, me and my good friend Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup, we're actually going to be sitting down with Teal Piper this coming Friday. And it's going to be a fun conversation that we're going to have with her. It's in anticipation of that weekend's season premiere of WOW Women of Wrestling on Access TV, as me and Mish are going to be partnering up once again to cover all the action this season from WOW. We actually just wrapped up literally yesterday. We wrapped up a really great and fun conversation with, for you WCW fans or you veteran pro wrestling fans, Bambi, otherwise known as Selena Majors. We had chatted with her, and we're going to put that up. I literally spent last night working on a couple of different projects to edit, and that was actually one of the things I was kicking back editing. It's all good, finished up, ready to go. I just got to get with Mish to figure out how we're going to go about uploading that, because we're trying to figure out how we want to go about putting it out there respectfully for our audiences, because he's got his own copy, I got my own copy, but it's basically the same mixed version or whatnot. So I got to get with him, see what's up. But yeah, Teal Piper. And with regards to that Bambi interview, you'll hear that this week for sure. It's definitely going to drop this week. I just got to figure out when. But the Teal Piper interview, we're going to be sitting down with her this Friday. So I think the way we're probably going to go about releasing that, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we release that on Saturday to basically coincide with our recap of the season premiere of WOW on Access TV. So good stuff. ODB, always a fun, fantastic time seeing ODB. I love her. I've always had a soft spot for ODB. Always been one of my favorites. And of course, another, like all of my favorites were involved in this Casino Royale match here. Jazz had a lot of people wondering, man, what the hell is going on with her? Because Jazz actually had said on social media that due to mommy duties and personal matters, she wasn't going to be able to be involved in AEW's All Out. And so that kind of made a lot of people go, what the fuck? Because she had just came back from a hiatus not that long ago, right? And then she came back like a couple of hours later after putting that out there, because people were like, sorry to hear. She came right back and said, no, it looks like after all, I'm going to be able to go to this. So I'm excited. Look forward to seeing you guys there. So you still kind of had to hold your breath a little bit. I like the bald head look. Yeah, I saw a little bit of it when she had the new video that was floating around in that new stable that she's in. I forget the name of it, but this was like really okay. Now It's in front of big bright lights. I've got a new TV. It's a smart TV and it's a 70-inch screen. So I'm really like, whoa. And it's going to take me a while to get used to the bald head. But I love the bald head. The bald head looks pretty damn good, man. I love it. It's pretty fucking solid. Your Joker was Nicole Martinez. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Forgive me, guys. I humbly apologize. Mercedes Martinez. God, I've been watching her for so many years now. I should know better. She should kick my ass for fucking her name up. But she had drew the Joker's Wild. So you saw that, you're like, wow, if anybody's probably going to win this, like you want to talk about the instant winner, it's got to be her, right? I don't have the... offhand, I don't have the order in which people had got eliminated and all that, but look, if you heard any of those names, if Jazz jumped out at you, if Ivelisse Velez jumped out at you, or if Mercedes Martinez had jumped out at you, sadly none of those people had won. By the way, shout out to my girl, freaking Lufisto. The reason why I gotta bring her up is because the attire that Mercedes Martinez had wore tonight in this Casino Battle Royale match, freaking Lufisto had designed it. And you go on her Twitter and Lufisto shares the image. I mean, it's colored and all that. It was like a badass red black thing outfit that Mercedes had going on, and Lufisto had actually designed it. So you're like, wow, go ahead, homegirl, that's pretty fucking badass. Your winner for the Casino Royale was none other than freaking what's her face? What's her name? Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose had actually won that. I'm ecstatic for her. I'm legitimately happy for her because it kind of seemed like things were going off to a little bit of a rocky start for her and her involvement with AEW and everything. And, it was really like, damn, what's going on with her? Because you're like, okay, so AEW has this opportunity to, work with somebody that is a transgendered individual. Not that the gender should matter, but this is definitely a case right here where you have a lot of eyes that's watching, particularly how you're handling an individual like this. And at the same time, you had fans that were legit fans of Nyla Rose that seeing the rocky start that she was off to in AEW going, yeah, what's going on? How book her better, book her smarter. And so to see her come out on top was great. And, not for nothing, but I tend to be a sucker for those that are from the DC area, whether it's the Patrick Clarks, otherwise known as the Velveteen Dream, or it's Mojo Rawley, right? Or in this case, Nyla Rose, Leo Rush. If it's one of them type of cats, I always kind of like to show a little bit of love to the hometown cat, right? So it's nice that Nyla Rose is going to be coming back here to DC on October 2nd at the Verizon Center, and she's going to be one of the women that could possibly be the new AEW Women's Champion, the first ever, right? So it's good. It's good. I'm happy. I hope she's able to go all the way. I mean, we shall wait and see. Now, as far as, okay, well, who is Nyla Rose going to be facing to crown the first ever AEW Women's Champion, Lee? I'm glad you asked that question. In the other match, we had Rio taking on Hikaru Shida. Winner of that had faced Nyla Rose coming up on October 2nd on TNT. It was actually Rio that had defeated Shida. I like the story that they had told in this match, and I got to give a lot of credit to the commentators. Once again, we had Excalibur, Jim Ross. There was no whatever that dude's name is. I mean, his work was so bad, it's like he was erased from my mind. That's how much of an impression he did not make with me, right? So, the guy I'm talking about. He's gone. They got in a new guy who was off to a really great start. I liked his chemistry with Jim Ross and everybody. He carried himself quite well. I definitely want to show him a lot of love. I'm actually looking at him right now. His name is Alex Golden Boy Mendez. Alex Golden Boy Mendez. So he signed with AEW, and remember, he actually had helped out AEW. What was the joint that they did with the little video game company? That's pretty much where we had first kind of came across him. But hey, AEW obviously pretty impressed with his work, and he's officially now on board. So that's great. And sadly, I now remember the other guy's name, Alex Marvez. Yeah, Alex Marvez was just. And I think now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think now Alex Marvez is supposed to just be a backstage interviewer for the TNT shows. If I'm wrong with that, let me know. I could have sworn that was something that I remember seeing as far as a release that was put out by AEW. But again, I could be wrong on that one. But yeah, the story that they told here with that match I was just talking about involving Rio and Shida, I liked it, especially with the color commentators, constantly bringing up, hey man, Rio, she's soaking wet 98 pounds, and yeah, she's got a lot of heart, she's got a lot of spunk, but as far as the weight goes, she's definitely outclassed. And what exactly is she going to be able to do to really bring this home? Because they pretty much were saying, hey, this girl is really coming off like a freaking underdog here in this match. But I liked how they had freaking did this here. I'm smiling and laughing because I'm looking at the results of who had won the predictions. Nobody was flawless here, including myself. Nobody was freaking flawless here. And yeah, that's good. That's good. I just got tweeted by my man Seth. Seth, shout out to you, buddy. You do a fantastic job as always. Appreciate your work, man. Seth listens to hours of audio. He's a big supporter of podcasts, but he loves making his rounds, gathering up data when it comes to the podcast predictions. So, Seth, my hat's off to you, my friend. I know you always put in a lot of work. It's always appreciated. Thank you kindly. But Rio defeating Shida. Good matchup. I can kind of tell from the crowd that, okay, we're going to cheer these girls on, but we really don't know who the fuck these girls are. We're trying not to be totally disrespectful and basically say to you guys, we don't give a shit. But yeah, we kind of don't know who these girls are. So yeah, you kind of got to forgive us. And they worked their little asses off in that match. I got to give them a lot of credit. They tried everything in their power to really get the crowd into it and everything. And I tell you what, it didn't really help looking at Rio and the attire that she was wearing, because it just kind of seemed like she was wearing some type of a big, fluffy diaper thingamajig. It was really weird. You got to go back and watch the match. The attire was just, it was weird. And then at the same time, I just couldn't help but wonder if I was watching two girls that were fighting over a position and being the new lead singer for a new baby metal band, basically, right? That's just the vibe I was legitimately getting. Let's go to another match. I know we kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but it kind of made sense. We had another pre-show matchup before the main card. It was Private Party defeating Angelico and Jack Evans. Private Party defeating Angelico and Jack Evans. Good matchup. That was a damn good matchup. Private Party, what was the name of their finisher, guys? They pretty much came in there. Look at my notes here. They pretty much had won that match with a finisher that they called Gin and Juice. You're looking at these guys and you're going, wow, these guys really come off like Street Profits, which brings the question, who would win? Who would win, Street Profits or Private Party? Kind of can't help but wonder, But then you go, well, wait a minute. What about Crime Time? We got to throw Crime Time in the mix as well, right? But as far as I'm concerned, I'm definitely very curious now, right? Because you see the traces and you could definitely make that argument of, oh, well, and a couple of times I couldn't help but wonder what exactly their name was, because I could have sworn I heard one of the color commentators called them House Party. And I'm going, is it House Party or Private Party? Because if it's House Party, Kid and Play don't play that shit. They're going to probably try to do some type of a trademark type of bullshit, right? So you kind of got to be careful with that one. But you know what? That was a really good matchup. For a pre-show, I enjoyed it. I didn't have a problem with that match being part of the pre-show. Honestly, it's all about getting the crowd excited, getting them worked up. Match came in a little bit over 10 minutes. It wasn't that bad. Actual pay-per-view card, we go SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky. They defeated Jurassic Express, otherwise known as a boy and his dinosaur, right? Marco Stunt, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, 6-man tag team matchup. You know, this was really my first opportunity, even though I remember him prior. This was really my first opportunity to really sit down and look at the work of Marco Stunt. And, you know, look, I'm not going to pick on the guy for his height and his weight and all of that shit. I'm not going to pick on him for that, but my God, is he small. I was just talking about Rio weighing freaking 98 pounds. I forgot how much they said this guy weighs. I think they said this guy weighs 102 pounds. You know, for me, look, if I'm going to be seeing Marco Stunt in AEW on a regular basis, I need to see him in some type of a tag team effort always. Every time I see him, it has to be a tag team effort. Because it's just not believable otherwise. You know, to basically see him go up against somebody that weighs 175 pounds and up. You know, it's just not really believable because the weight is on that person's side. And now some of you guys could say, you know, but he's a little runt. He's got the speed on his side and all that. I guess to kind of counter that, I guess it depends on the psychology that they're telling with this match. But I know at one point, and you even had Jim Ross that took a little bit of a shot at how the booking was during this tag match. But at one point, I remember Marco Stunt had got a hot tag, and he was going in there, and you're like, no. Marco Stunt should not be getting a hot tag and going in there and just that's not really believable. And I remember something along the lines of JR kind of commenting about that. And, you know, eventually that lasted just for a hot minute. And then somebody else had got the tag in and everything. But pretty much from what I saw in Marco Stunt, whenever he was doing his thing, he was usually getting help from his tag team partner. Even when it came to getting some type of a setup for a high risk, high reward maneuver over the ropes or in between the ropes, he was still getting a little bit of help from one of his tag team partners. So I like the fact that the way they booked it, you know, it was smart right there. That they need to continue to do that, because if it's a situation where Marco Stunt is facing somebody just straight up one-on-one, you're sadly going to be at a disadvantage. And that's literally what had happened in this matchup, because towards the end of the match, SoCal Uncensored, they were able to get the one up by taking advantage of freaking Marco Stunt. I think in the hang on a second here, guys, let me see what's going on here. I'm interrupting this broadcast because oh man, we're way past that. Yeah, you guys got a little bit of a YouTube delay there. I mean, we're streaming the audio, but I see you guys got a YouTube delay. I think the delay is by like about 90 seconds. So I do apologize. That's not by my design either. God, get caught up to speed, guys. Not by me, but YouTube. Get my listeners caught up to speed. Seriously. But no, the closing moments of that matchup here, according to my notes from what I'm seeing, basically, let me look here. Look at my notes here. It was pretty much Scorpio Sky coming in with a flip over the top rope on Luchasaurus. And then Kazarian had held down both Stunt and Jungle Boy in a power driver position. Daniels had connected with the best moonsault ever! And Kazarian had came on down with the cover. 1, 2, 3. And they pretty much were able to pick up the W that way. You know, I was a little bit disappointed because I was really rooting for the other team to win. I was really rooting for their dinosaur. I was really rooting for them. There's just something about that. It just clicked so well. I mean, before Marco Stunt, I love what was going on. Marco Stunt being added to it, I'm going, well, let me just see. You know, and I kind of like the good start that they're off to so far, but For me, I don't know. Look, I got a lot of respect for SoCal Uncensored, man. I like those guys. I love them tremendously, especially Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. Love those guys tremendously, but I just really kind of felt like, no, let these guys go over instead. But, it was a good, entertaining match nonetheless. And again, good, entertaining matchup. All right, our next matchup, we had Pac shockingly defeat Kenny Omega via referee stoppage. I kid you not, by referee stoppage. This was a damn good matchup. For me, this one had got a strong thumbs up. When I look at all of the matches overall and just go, okay, which ones really jump out to me the most, that's my number one go-to match of the night. I got to give a lot of credit to Pac, otherwise known as Neville in the WWE, to pretty much go into taking this match on such short notice, because as we all know, Jon Moxley, he's out with a legit injury right now, and as far as a timetable on when he's going to be coming back, who knows right now. It's just all about him getting better, getting back to 100% and better, right? 100% and more is what I'm trying to say. If you can get up to 120, 150%, make it so. So for Pac to come in here, and it was a little bit redeeming, so to speak, because remember, Pac was supposed to be doing something with AEW prior, but things didn't quite pan out the way that it did. So it's kind of nice how everything had came back full circle here. I love this one. This was a killer fucking nice, good technical matchup. If you were looking for something on the technical, this was your match. This was the match for you, without a shadow of doubt. And I told you guys how Pac had pretty much defeated Kenny Omega by referee stoppage. Closing moments of that matchup, if I remember it right, he pretty much had got in I think he got in a leg scissors submission hold. Let me actually look at my notes here. See if I got it in here. Yeah, he did like a leg scissors submission hold, and he just was torquing that motherfucker, not letting up worth a damn. And Kenny Omega, he just slowly fading out, and the referee checks in on Omega, and Omega's just out, and the referee just pretty much called it. And when the cameras panned out to the crowd looked shocked as fuck. They could not believe what the hell had happened right before their very eyes. It was almost kind of like the wind got sucked out of them, not in a very bad way. It was just, I think as far as the finish goes, it's safe to say a lot of them were expecting for Kenny Omega to come out of there with the W. I don't think a lot of them were anticipating that he was going to lose like that, right? So kind of interesting. And you know what? Look, I don't put any blame on those that thought Omega was going to win this, because after all, the person that Omega was supposed to face was Moxley. Moxley's out, and now you're putting in Pac, right? And then also, if you had the psychology of, well, it makes a lot of sense for Omega to go over, because surely Moxley's not going to be out that long, and then that way when Moxley does come back, Omega is still strong looking, and pretty much Omega, Moxley, they can pick up where they left off before Moxley got injured, right? So if you had that mentality, there was nothing wrong with that whatsoever. There was nothing wrong with that. But man, was it weird seeing Pac win that? It was. It really, really was. But you know what? Until Pac jumps out there and gives an interview as far as, hey, look, this is what happened the last go round with my involvement in AEW and why things didn't pan out, because you got those reports that's out there. Remember, you always got to take those reports with a grain of salt, but you have the reports out there that last go round Pac didn't want to lose, especially because he was holding on to the Dragon Gate title or whatever. He didn't want to lose at that time, right? And so you can't help but wonder, okay, well, is this how things get full circle and everybody gets squared away? Is he backed out? AEW's in a bind. They need a favor, and okay, well, what's in it for me? Okay, well, we'll give you the W. Like, until he really is able to clear the air on all of that shit, all we can do is just kind of speculate. But I mean, just 2 cents from a distance, you know, if one of the ultimate main reasons why they gave him the W was because, okay, look, this is the very first time that people, you know, are you know, really seeing you here in this type of a magnified scale, if you kind of want to call it that, then okay, yeah, let's really make sure that Pac gets off on the right foot here, and you know, we're really trying to do right by him. If that's how you're gonna roll, then it kind of makes a little bit of sense. But damn, what do you do now with Kenny Omega? You know, because and I was going back and forth with somebody about this, and they were like, well, Kenny Omega's going to be all right. He won his last match, and the last match before that, and the one before that. It's like, no. What you're saying is Kenny Omega is undefeated right now. No, Kenny Omega's not undefeated right now. Kenny Omega's record right now minus, because the reason why you got to bring up the records is because remember what Cody and them said, oh, win-losses are going to matter in AEW, right? Okay, so we'll hold you to that. So right now, minus the tag match that he had at the last one, which he won, minus that, right now, Kenny Omega is 2-1, if I'm not mistaken. Add that tag match victory, then he's 3-1. Okay, so you could make the argument, well, that's not really too bad. You know, he could afford the loss. Okay, yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Yeah, he's all right. And actually, no, let me back up a second. No. Because he lost to Jericho, and then he just lost to Tonight. So no, actually his record right now is 1-2, if I'm not mistaken. I believe his record is now 1-2. When in doubt, just fucking look at the joint. So we know Tonight, that was a loss. Let's back up a second. So let's back up to Fight for the Fallen. Fight for the Fallen, that was a win. Let's back up before that. See where that was. What was the one before that? The one before that was Fyter Fest. What we got for you here? Yeah, that was the tag team that I'm talking about. So wow, am I reading this right? Okay, wait. Double or Nothing. Oh, hang on here, guys. We'll make sure we're giving this right. Yeah, I think we need to make a correction here. So, looking at his record, see, I knew I was on to something because when I put the information out initially, I had somebody that was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. All right, so I'm going to do this properly here for you guys. All right, so we're looking at Double or Nothing right now. Is that what we're looking at? Yeah, we're looking at Double or Nothing. That's where I'm starting. I'm looking at Double or Nothing. All right, so he lost to Chris Jericho. Winner faces Adam Page for the World Heavyweight Championship, so that's a loss right there. Okay. Let's go to Fyter Fest. Fyter Fest, Kenny Omega was involved in a tag team matchup. He won that one. All right. So he's now one apiece. Then you go to Fight for the Fallen. Kenny Omega defeated Cima. Okay, so that's good. So it's 50-50 right now. 2 wins, 2 losses, so he's 50-50 right now. So, I mean, that's not really too shabby, right? If we're going to say win-losses matter, right? All right, whatever. But it was a good match. I mean, as far as the ones that really stood out to me the most, that one for me was, if there was one match I can point out and say, whatever you can do to go out of your way and check it out, check that match out. If you can maybe find that match alone on Daily Motion or whatever, it's definitely worth going out of your way and checking out. Next matchup. Jimmy Havoc defeated Darby Allin and Joey Janela. This was a special attraction match. This was your Cracker Barrel Clash match. Your Cracker Barrel Clash match. I will not be eating at Cracker Barrel because, like Denny's, I always get a bad vibe from them. Every time I would walk into a Cracker Barrel in the past, it really felt as though blacks were not looked at too kindly at Cracker Barrel, much like with Denny's. Reason why I keep bringing up Denny's, and kind of ties into how Denny's is now going about their new marketing campaign with some of the commercials that you're saying, oh, you know, things have changed, you know, come on back, or some stupid shit like that. Look up the Bill Clinton Secret Service story. Do a Bing Google search. Just type in Bill Clinton Secret Service Denny's. That's all you need, and you'll be able to know exactly what I'm saying, right? So yeah, for me, Cracker Barrel No, thank you. IHOP. I'm an IHOP guy. I love IHOP. I'll go to IHOP instead. This was a hilarious fucking matchup because as the participants are coming down and they introduce the barrel, Cracker Barrel, there was literally a barrel by the stage ramp. I'm eyeballing on top of the barrel a tray full of biscuits, and I say to myself, protect the biscuits. I'm actually talking to people in the Discord, and I'm saying those biscuits need to be protected. Somebody needs to save the biscuits. And I was dead serious because, like, I'm thinking those biscuits, man, I'm telling you, something's going to go wrong with them biscuits. Somebody's going to use those biscuits. They're not going to eat them. And it's going to be a travesty. Them biscuits did look pretty damn good, too. Sure enough, took a minute. We saw tables, staple gun, and all kinds of other weird shit coming about in this match. And you're like, okay, all right, so the biscuits are safe. Nah, the biscuits weren't safe. Eventually, the biscuits got used, and they were thrown into I don't know whose freaking face. But it was freaking ridiculous. I laughed my ass off. This match was comical on so many levels, yet it was entertaining at the same time. Especially one spot that really had me chuckling. And if you couldn't chuckle at this, then, Ozzy, you're not really a pro wrestling fan and you don't have a sense of humor. Was it ridiculous, the spot? Yes, it was. But it was still a fun and entertaining at the same time. There was a spot where I want to say it was who did it. I think it was freaking Havoc. I'm not really sure, but somebody brought in a piece of paper. It was a sharp ass piece of paper. I think it was surrounded in a laminated piece of cover. I'm not really sure, but basically, long story short, they took somebody's fingers and basically did a freaking paper cut. And the crowd just erupted. I mean, they shrieked all at the same time. You're like, yeah, paper cuts, they do freaking hurt. Yeah, they do, but it's not the end of the world. It's not like you got stabbed to death or whatever, right? But that spot right there, that was freaking hilarious. Also, we had Darby. Darby actually had used the barrel. He tried to use the barrel on Havoc. Dude, I can't believe I almost forgot, too. At some point, Havoc's mouth got stuffed with thumbtacks as duct tape was wrapped around his mouth and he was just getting the shit kicked out of him. And you're going, okay, so if he swallows those thumbtacks, he's pretty much like done, right? We could pretty much eliminate him, but nothing like that ever did happen with him, luckily, right? But no, dude, I can't believe I almost forgot about that spot. But no, moving ahead, Darby had actually used one of the Cracker Barrels on Havoc, and it was a sweet ass spot. Havoc basically was laid out on some steel steps outside of the ring, and Darby had went to the top rope and he had the barrel in his hands, and he basically put the barrel behind him and he just went back first with the barrel, thinking he was going to be able to successfully crash into freaking Havoc, but Havoc moved out the way just in time, and it was a nice crash and burn. Beautiful disaster. Fucking loved it. Closing moments of the matchup. Fast forwarding a little bit more. Havoc had brought the barrel in the ring, did a superplex to Janela. Should have sent Janela back first into the barrel, but that did not happen. Instead, Janela's leg, one of his legs, had actually caught the big brute of the force of impact of the barrel. But Havoc was not satisfied with that. Havoc has said, no, I really need to stick a fork in this and call this DONE done. He follows it up, putting that same barrel that didn't crash all the way, didn't get destroyed all the way through, puts it in the middle of the ring, pretty much did a spinning clothesline with pin on Janela, picked up the 1, 2, 3, and Janela is out, over and out. Havoc winning that matchup. Want to take this time out, thank those of you that's checking out the AEW All Out stream right now. Hope you guys are having a great time. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're checking out the stream via YouTube, make sure you go that extra mile, smash the like button and all that. Really appreciate it. Look, it doesn't matter if you like WWE, you like Ring of Honor, you like New Japan, it doesn't matter. MLW, it doesn't matter. What you really should just be loving is pro wrestling as a whole. 2019 and beyond, it's a really great time to be a wrestling fan. Right now, going into the future, it's a really great time because there's so many promotions that's out there. Take your pick. There's a lot of cool promotions that's out there, and why keep yourself designated to just one promotion when there's so many that you can check out? And hey, if you're not really feeling what's happening this week with this one, okay, well, you know what, let me go over here and see what's going on with these guys, right? So can't stress that enough. I see it all the time where everybody's it kind of, I chuckle sometimes because sometimes when I see people that's like picking a side and an allegiance or whatever, it almost reminds me of my time that I had spent out in California. And, one of my uncles, I sadly had lost due to gang violence and all that. It really kind of comes off like Crips and Bloods when I see some of these people, AEW sucks, it's all about WWE. Well, WWE sucks, it's all about AEW. It's like, just, we're in this for one thing, we're in this for the love of pro wrestling. I think we all can be in agreement of that, right? It's just silly when I see some of that stuff that comes about sometimes. I want to take this time out and give a shout out to some of our Patreon members, because without their kind contributions, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. Them combined with some of the sponsors that we get to hook up with from time to time, they keep it rolling, they keep it rocking, man. So I definitely want to show this time to show them the love and support. And if you aren't a Patreon member, do consider being a Patreon member. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Little as $5 a month, you can check out bonus audio and video content, a great majority of which you won't be able to access anywhere else. You also get access to some really cool original shows, like our 30 with Lee series, covers nothing but movies getting ready to come out, or hidden gems, independent stuff, great stuff right there. And then you get the Wrestling with the Topic series hosted by me and the beautiful and lovely Tammy. Go a little bit all over the place. Once in a while we'll bring up some non-wrestling related stuff. Actually, no, all the time we'll bring up non-wrestling related topics, but once in a blue moon, we'll bring up some wrestling topics on there. But a lot of great content over there. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Shout out to Patreon members John Krauser, my boy John Krauser. Also, shout out to Sean Kenter, Justin Rabach, Freddie, Michael Wolf, John Davis, my good friend Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup, Joe Raymond Jr., and special shout out to Tony Bing Gaming. If you guys are into all things Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel Strike Force, or the upcoming MOBA game Marvel Super Wars, Tony Bing is the guy you want to hit up. He's got your hookup for all of those things as far as coverage, news, walkthroughs, great tutorials, whole 9 yards. Check him out. He's got a great YouTube channel at Tony Bing Gaming. He has a Patreon page as well, same name. Appreciate all of these Patreon members and sponsors of the show. Let's continue on, talk about some more of this great fun stuff that came about from AEW's card here. We only got a couple of more matches to go, and then we're pretty much out of here. Let's see, Dark Order. The Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson had defeated the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, starring Robert Blake. I just, you guys got to forgive me. Maybe somebody can enlighten me and everybody else. Well, I just don't see it with the Dark Order. I just don't. The Dark Order for me, and see, that's the thing. I'm an old school wrestling fan, but this thing with the Dark Order, it just feels so very, very outdated. And I feel as though I'm watching a guy that's in his late 40s under that mask, the way he's rolling and everything. It's really hard for me to get into what I'm seeing. Now, some people will say, nah, but Lee, it's Evil Uno, man. He worked at Capital City and Alpha One, and And I don't know, man, he's pretty cool. Like, I'm just not feeling what I'm seeing from Player Uno, now known as this new name. I'm Evil Uno. I'm just not really feeling this whole Dark Order thing. It's just not clicking for me. And I know I made him excessively older. I know he's in his early 30s, but still, you get the point that I'm making. In this current gimmick, it just feels very outdated. It feels like a weird... It feels like a weird 80s throwback, kind of in a bad, cheesy way, meets the S&M scene from fucking Pulp Fiction. Like, that's how creeped out I am when I see freaking Evil Uno, man. I'm not feeling this whole fucking thing. For me, I've been loving the hell out of Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, best friends. I actually saw a bit of their work tail end when they were working in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And for me, ever since I found out they were affiliated with AEW, I've pretty much been high on them. And so some of the bookings I've been seeing going on with them has kind of made me scratch my head a little bit. But tonight, even though they lost, a big smile was put on my face because, at the end of this match, we see that Evil Uno and them, they pretty much have their druids come and take these guys, the best friends, and it kind of looks as though, oh, all right, maybe they're getting ready to sacrifice these guys on a pike or some shit. Lights go out. When the lights come back on, the one and only Orange Cassidy is standing there in the middle of the ring. Yes, Orange fucking Cassidy. And this guy has just really taken social media by fucking storm. I know that there's probably some people that's looking at this guy and they're going, wait a minute, who the flying fuck is this guy? Why should I care about him? He's like almost an overnight sensation, so to speak. I mean, he's worked for promotions such as Shakira, he's worked for Beyond Wrestling, and Groundbreaking Wrestling. He made his debut back in early 2000. I want to say maybe like 2003, going into 2004. And so, the guy, and he wrestled a lot on the independents up and down the New Jersey area and all that. He was trained by Chris Hero, and he was also trained by Mike Quackenbush. So kind of give you a little bit of a backdrop to him and everything. So, yeah, boy, he's been doing there with that whole gimmick, and all he is just all about pockets and all that. I know some people are going to look at this and they are just going to be like, this is stupid as fuck. You know what? Sometimes I'm like this. And I would be a hypocrite if I were to just jump out there and bash on a guy like Orange Cassidy. I would be a hypocrite because longtime listeners know, what's the number one thing I always say when it comes to a wrestler? One of the main things I always say is, go out there, get some type of a reaction, be it good or be it bad. Just go out there and successfully get some type of a reaction, because having that reaction really helps extends your longevity in that ring, right? As long as the people are talking, that's what matters. When it is dead silent, you got fucking issues. So for me, the way Orange Cassidy has been able to tweak himself and be where he is right now, is it silly? Is it wacky? Is it cornball? Yeah, but it's entertaining at the same time. And I'm all fine for it. If it means you got those periods where you got a smile on your face and you're kind of laughing and all that, I'm down with it. To see the lights come on and there he is standing in the middle of the ring and his hands are in his fucking pockets and the fans are popping for this man, and you got freaking Dark Order looking on at him and the Druids, and he pretty much just with his hands in his pockets goes running into the ropes, bounces off the ropes, sends himself flying over the ropes for a freaking suicide dive, and he crashes into the mall, and then he just, still hands in his pockets, gets back into the ring, standing there in the middle like, I'm the fucking man. I'm down with that. Sign me the fuck up. Right? Sign me up. I can get with that. I know some people look at that and they, oh man, that's stupid as fuck. But it's got like, and I'm a sucker for movies. I just plugged the 30 with Lee series. It's got a it's got a Clint Eastwood man with no name vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost got that vibe. Because remember, was it in? Yeah, it was Fistful of Dollars. Remember, a lot of times when you saw Clint Eastwood's character in that movie, very seldom did you see him, use that hand that was so fucking powerful because, he knew how to shoot a motherfucker. He had it lettered up and everything. So it was like very, very rare that you saw him use that hand. It's got like one of those kind of vibes to it, almost like a Man with No Name meets fucking Iron Fist and some other shit rolled into one. It's like, okay, when he uses his hands, is going to be some memorable, powerful, intense shit or whatever like that, right? And then even if he doesn't use his hands, that's pretty fucking badass that he's able to do all that shit, that he's able to do, within reason. But it's quirky, it's cornball. I laugh just thinking about it. It makes an impression with me, right? And that's what sometimes pro wrestling is all about, having those impressions where, oh yeah, remember that, more stuff that you're able to talk about on a good lighter note and everything. I think the better, quite honestly. So I like Orange Cassidy. Good stuff with him. Cody Rhodes had defeated Shawn Spears. By the way, the times for these matches, not too shabby at all. I mean, 11 minutes here, 10 minutes here, a little bit over 20 minutes here, almost 15 minutes here, another 15 minutes, another 15 minutes. As far as the time when everything had actually went pretty good tonight, I definitely got to give it that. None of the matches felt rushed. None of the matches felt as though we needed a little bit more time to tell our story. Yeah, it didn't feel that way at all. Nothing felt rushed in any type of way. Flow was pretty good, and the order in which they did these matches were good. Cody Rhodes defeating Shawn Spears. That's another one where, it was a good match. It was a good match. I was really looking at this match, trying to pay attention to Shawn Spears, because I've only been seeing and hearing little drips about what's been happening with Shawn Spears and everything. And man, the metamorphosis he's been able to do up to this point, I'm loving it. I mean, he's picked up a little bit more bulk and everything. Ty Dillinger, for you WWE fans, now known as Shawn Spears, working with AEW. I mean, I like the transformation that he's been able to do with himself, and having a manager and Tully Blanchard, the father of Tessa Blanchard. Oh my God, man. Like, that is a great 1-2 fucking combo. But can we talk about something that's a little bit odd? The entrance. I gotta talk about the entrance, because Cody Rhodes had one of the most weirdest fucking entrances, and it only makes sense to me, and I'm gonna pose a question to you and ask you what the fuck was up with it. It was a weird entrance because I don't know, like, what's around the corner, because unless something is around the corner, it doesn't make sense to me, which is Brandy came out looking like 7 of 9 from Star Trek, whichever one it was. I lose track after a while. After I get past the original Star Trek, Next Generation, Voyager, I said Voyager. yeah, Star Trek, Voyager. Voyager. After I get past those three, Enterprise, with Scott Bakula, I'm a little bit lost. So you guys got to fill in the gaps for me. But Brandy looked like she came out at 7 of 9. MJF, I don't know what the fuck he was. I don't know if he was Scotty or he was supposed to be Data or what. I don't know. DDP, I don't know who DDP was. Was he supposed to be Worf? Was he supposed to be Sulu? Like, what the fuck? Like, that was a little bit confusing for me. Or maybe he was supposed to be Scotty. I don't know. And then you get to Cody. He's got his red Starfleet top on. Okay, so is Cody Jean-Luc Picard, or is he Will Riker? Like which one is he? But most importantly, why were they coming out dressed as Star Trek characters? Were they coming out dressed as Star Trek characters because the newest Star Trek, Discovery, I think is the newest one, is that getting ready to premiere on CBS Plus? Or I know one of the things that made a lot of people happy was the new Jean-Luc Picard Star Trek that's supposed to be coming. I don't know if that's going to be this fall or if that is supposed to be first quarter of next year. But that just really left me kind of scratching my head a little bit, kind of wondering what the hell was going on with that. So maybe you guys can kind of connect the dots for us and let us know what was up with that Star Trek gimmick, why they were probably doing it, because it just felt so fucking random on so many levels. But that was aside from the head scratching entrance from them and poor Pharaoh coming out there. Somebody made the joke that dog looks so petrified. You know, that service dog looks like it's going to need its own service dog before the night is out, because they felt that poor Pharaoh looked a little traumatized. I thought Pharaoh looked pretty good. Every time I see Pharaoh, I love Pharaoh. Pharaoh, you know, there's a few things in wrestling that puts a big smile on my face consistently. And when I see Pharaoh's freaking badass. And by the way, shout out to Pharaoh and everybody involved in AEW. They did fantastic with this thing that they did with Paul's. Once again, they were able to raise $10,000, so that's pretty fucking good. And you know, I just hope that you know, the pets out there are able to find their respective forever home. So you know, shout out to those of you that live in the Chicago area. If you're able to give a pet a home, please do so, man. You know, it means the world. You know, it's fucking awesome. And where would we be as a society without our fucking pets, man? Like, seriously, just imagine no world with no pets. It'd be a little bit kind of, you know, kind of odd, I would have to say. Closing moments of this matchup. Let's pretty much pick it up, because we're pretty much getting ready to take you all home here. According to my notes here. Yeah, and this was a good back and forth. I love the spot where they had Tully Blanchard right at the beginning, because I love how Cody Rhodes went into this match white hot, and rightfully so. I mean, don't begin this match with the bell ringing and they do a lockup. Nah, somebody needs to go at the other person hard, fast, chip on their shoulders. And I like the fact that Cody Rhodes pretty much had fucking brought it to freaking Sean Spears. But I liked how Tully Blanchard tried to get involved and Cody just decked him. And I just couldn't help but say, damn, shout out to freaking Pops Blanchard. You know, he could still take a fucking bump. Here he is, 65 years old, and here he is taking a fucking bump. That was badass. Saw another spot later on during the match where, I'm trying to remember, somehow, I think it was maybe Cody's belt that was about to get used against him by Spears. The referee, Earl Hebner, had intervened and was like, no, you're not going to use that on him. Give me that. No, that ain't happening. Give me that. And so Spears reluctantly, okay, whatever. And so as Earl Hebner has his back turned, Tully Blanchard takes off his belt. Yeah, he was dressed pretty nice too. You know, I loved his attire tonight. Nice, cool little blazer, opened up shirt, dress pants and all that. Banging dress shoes. You know, looked like he was... Yeah, he was representing, as far as the four goes, he looked like he was representing strong. He actually took off his dress belt, gave it to Spears while Ebner's back was turned, and Spears just started whipping Cody with it. So you see Hebner, he turns around finally and he sees that Sean Spears has that belt in his hand. You would think that Earl would be like, what did I just tell you? I just told you you can't use any belt. Wait, what the hell is wrong with you? And yet Earl Hebner just lets him go ahead and use the fucking belt. For me, that was just kind of weird booking right there. You can try to justify that all you want. For me, that was just really weird. And then something else had happened where Tully tried to get involved again, but this go round while the referee was, once again distracted or whatever. We actually saw Double A, Arn Anderson. He got involved and he pretty much had to deliver his trademark Double A spine buster to Sean Spears. Laid him out in the middle of the ring. You got freaking Tully looking on that Double A going, why? What the hell? What'd I do to you? Why you out here doing that? What the hell? And it's so funny. Here's another spot where things just kind of look like, that was kind of funky. So after Double A does what he does, he's giving Tully the evil eye. And he's saying to him, not like that. No, it's got to be even. Not like that. No, not like that. And Tully's looking at him like, hey, what the hell, man? What the hell? And so it was tight how they had the entrances for tonight. It was kind of like basically your heels and your baby faces were coming out like of separate entrances. So that was a nice little fucking throwback to yesteryears, right? But in this case, Double A, you see him going, and you're thinking, well, maybe Tully is going to give chase, and maybe there's going to be like a physical confrontation or something like that. And Tully's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why you do that? Why you getting involved in my business? Man, what the hell is wrong with you? Maybe we were going to see some type of spot where Double A decks the hell out of Tully, and then that pretty much takes care of Tully. I don't know if it was a case of maybe Tully just having one big spot in him to take a bump or what, but you didn't even see, sadly, Tully Blanchard chasing after Double A. Instead, Double A goes in his respected entrance to make his departure, and Tully just talking shit up the ramp. He pretty much just goes in the other direction. So that was very hearty fucking laugh for me. I enjoyed that. Pinfall. Cody Rhodes had won via pinfall. Closing moments of that one, Cody had kicked out of did a kick out. Then he had connected with a face buster. Cody had tried to grab a steel chair, decided not to use it. Cody pulls out the bionic elbow, followed it up with a disaster kick, as the steel chair did come into play there. As I think Cody actually had, here, you take the chair, and then pretty much did the disaster. Try saying that with aligners in your mouth. Try doing the disaster kick. Successfully did it to Spears' face, then connects with the crossroads, connects with the 1-2-3, picks up the W. It's a good matchup. That would be another match I would say go out of your way, check out. That was pretty good as well. Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix, they had retained their AAA World Tag titles. They went over the Young Bucks, but there was a little bit of help. But did they really go over the Young Bucks? No, they really didn't. If you really want to get technical, they really didn't. But they somehow were able to retain their tag titles. Think about that. They were able to retain their tag titles in a ladder match, despite the fact that there was interference. And I never did, maybe I missed it, I'll rely on you guys, but I never did hear the color commentators say, hey, look, no, with regards to the rules for this match, as far as getting disqualified, it can't go into effect. They didn't say that. And if they did, I missed it. But I'm like 75% kind of certain that they never did bring that up as far as the rules go. So the reason why I'm homing in on that was because a tag team that recently had left Impact Wrestling, they let their voices be heard that, hey, fans, don't worry, you're going to be seeing us very soon for one of your favorite wrestling promotions. Y'all are going to be excited where we're landing. We can't wait to get to work. You guys are going to be pleased. I'm talking about Impact Wrestling's own LAX's Ortiz and Santana. Them guys are now part of AEW, and it was great seeing the reaction that they had got from the crowd. So these guys, they come in, man, you talk about freaking retro. These guys actually came in with Bill Clinton and Al Gore face mask, and they were just going to town. They were beating the shit out of anybody that was in front of them. Sick ass spot. There was even a really cool spot. I forget which one it was. I think it was Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix had actually lost his mask. It was cool how that spot came about. I love that. I love that. All he cared about at that point was getting his mask on and all that. But anyway, yeah, freaking LAX, they came in there and they just started going to town, and the referee throws the match out. So for me, that was just really kind of weird, because it was, well, this is a ladder match, right? So why are we throwing up the disqualification? I don't know. I'm hoping I'm not really overanalyzing that, but for me, that was just a weird little spot that they did. I think if anything, what should have happened was LAX comes in there, they lay the guys out and lay them out so bad, nobody's able to come to their feet. There's no, right? Then you have the referee go on ahead and just be like, well, I can't do anything because none of these guys are coming to. I have no choice. I got to throw the match out because neither teams are fighting each other. Both are incapacitated. Like, what the hell, right? I think that kind of would have made a little bit more sense to do, right? Then again, you could maybe poke a little bit of holes into that little angle I just suggested as well. So either way, no matter how you cut it, it's a little bit funky. But let's just marvel in the fact that LAX is now there in frickin' AEW, and they're not called LAX. I cannot think for the love of me, and if they did, I'll have to rely on you guys once again, but I could have sworn I heard Golden Boy say that the Illegals were now here in AEW. I could be wrong. I mean, I think that'd be kind of interesting if their name are the Illegals. Because it's kind of like, okay, see how you're playing there. Okay, I can get into this if that's the name you're going to be going with for your tag team / stable. But if that's not their name, I'm curious what their new name is going to be. But when they laid everybody out, they came in afterwards with the Puerto Rican flag, laid it out. And I like how Alex Mendez came in and he said, hey, look, I'm a fan of Ortiz and Santana, big fan of theirs. But speaking especially as a fellow Puerto Rican, but speaking as a Puerto Rican, how they went in there and did their business just now, that was pretty messed up, basically, was what the Golden Boy was saying. He did very good, by the way. For those of you that aren't really that familiar with him, he's pretty much done voiceover work. He's done commentating for other promotions. So for him to be able to get the opportunity to work with AEW, it's a great upgrade from Alex Marvez. Right? I think everybody could be in agreement. I really didn't see that many people that were taking a dump on this guy, to the point no dumps at all. Alex did a Marvez, that is. Mendez. I'm sorry, Mendez. See, now I remember the other Alex. It's sad. Mendez we're talking about. Mendez did a really great job. I got to give him a lot of props. All right, we got one more match to talk about, and then we're pretty much going to take it home. I mean, it pretty much had opened up our stream tonight as we did the full play-by-play for that. Saw some of the comments that you guys had said. You were like, yeah, if you could do more play-by-play, live watch party, that'd be kind of cool. Or, yeah, keep it going. For those of you that's going to be watching the web stream on demand, you'll see exactly what everybody else had saw when we came on live initially. You can sound off and let me know if that's some more of what maybe you would like, and we could definitely do that from time to time. And if we build a more of a stronger base that do that more on the regular with the usual show, well, then I wouldn't mind coming on 15-20 minutes early and we can get into it that way. Chris Jericho is your new AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and I mean, look, I've been saying it since day fucking one. I said, look, you gotta have Chris Jericho be the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. It makes all the sense in the world. You're talking about things from a PR marketing standpoint. A lot of the things that Chris Jericho was saying in his promos and all that about, hey, it was him that pretty much had help, get the deal with TNT and, all this other shit. Hey, working with Tony Khan and really help putting AEW on the map even more and all this other shit. There's a lot of that actually rings true. There's a lot of that rings true. But putting that to the side, when you just really look at things from just a PR marketing standpoint, makes all the fucking sense in the world to go with a guy like Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has been a household name for how many decades now? He's been able to do how many cool, awesome things in and outside of the wrestling business, for God fucking sake. The man, and big congrats to them. I know I'm probably a little bit late to the game, but there's a new Fozzy single that just dropped. I was reading it from the Blabbermouth website. I love Blabbermouth. They're pretty much one of the go-tos I like when it comes to metal and hard rock and all that. It sounds pretty good. Listen to it when you get a chance. But Jericho was talking about how they just signed a deal with Sony. Sony Music. They just signed with Sony. And so you're like, wow. Just think about that. To be a Fozzy fan, going way back when it started off as basically a cover band, and then it just kept, each album, they just got better and better and better, independent little record labels here and there, but to now be hooked up with a major record label, right? Just take all of those things. Like I said, what he's been able to do in and outside of the ring, you name it, wrestler, you need him as a TV host for something. Oh, you need him to host what kind of an award show? A metal award show or a hard rock show? Okay, yeah, Jericho's the guy for that. Hey, you want to talk about writing? Jericho has written multiple books, and some of them have become New York Times bestsellers, great cult classic hits among fans and everything. It's like everything that this guy does is fucking money. And so having your first show on TNT in October, okay, when that casual wrestling fan is channel surfing, they see wrestling is on. What's one of the first faces that they're going to see? They're going to see Chris Jericho. And they're going to be like, wow, did I just fucking do the time warp again? Is this WCW 19? Put the year here. I'm watching Lionheart Jericho again. What the hell is going on here? Now, it makes sense on so many levels that you go with a guy like a Chris Jericho. And besides, the chase, it's better than the catch, man. It's fucking better than the catch. So if it's going to be a case where, I don't think it is, but if you want to get my 2 cents from a distance, Lee, do you think it's going to be Hangman Page continuing to chase after Chris Jericho? I don't kind of see how at this point, because he beat Page cleanly in the middle of the ring. I didn't see any controversy going on there. It was fucking clean. Jericho didn't even beat him with the code breaker or the walls of Jericho or Judas or whatever the hell he wants to call whatever and pull it out of his bag of fucking tricks. He didn't even do it that way. You know, it was pretty much, what did I say? How do you freaking win it again, guys? I think he pretty much had won it. I think he pretty much had won it with a clothesline, I think, during the final moments of it. I'm pretty sure I said clothesline earlier. So it was very spontaneous, what the fuck, how Jericho had won and everything. You know, what challenges lie for Jericho on the horizon now that he's the new AEW champion? You know, who's going to be that guy that's going to try to face him? One thing is for certain, we should know something definitely by that October 2nd episode, because AEW did reveal during tonight's broadcast that there's going to be another AEW pay-per-view event, which brings me to another point. What is the future going to be for some of these AEW pay-per-views? Because for those of you that may be curious, I actually checked out the pay-per-view, and I paid for it. I went on ahead, I paid the $50, right? And I don't regret it. I'm not disappointed in what I had saw tonight. I'm not. I thought overall it was a good pay-per-view. However, you know, doing $50, that's pretty fucking steep, man. You're tapping into, and I'm not just speaking for me. I know I'm speaking for a lot of wrestling fans, which is, you know, man, that $50 extra, that's okay. That's part of that New Japan Pro Wrestling subscription. That's part of that Spotify subscription. That's part of that Impact subscription or Ring of Honor or insert here, you know. So we got to tone it down on those prices. We got to go down to a modest $39.99. I think that's more than fair. Do either $29.99 or $39.99. That's more than fucking fair, quite honestly. But yeah, that next AEW pay-per-view event, it's called Full Gear. Again, Full Gear. And Full Gear is going to be happening in Baltimore, Maryland at the Royale Farms Arena on November 9th. Ticket information is supposed to be released this coming week, so I would like to believe that maybe before Wednesday we should probably know when tickets are going to go on sale. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe tickets were to go on sale next week. I'm hoping I could actually get in on that. I actually wouldn't mind going to see that show. I got to check with the missus and see how the calendar is looking for November, because if we can pull it off, I actually would not mind legitimately going to that, covering the pay-per-view and all that. But Jericho, Hangman Page, damn good match. If you're a fan of Hangman Page and you didn't like the fact that Jericho had won, don't feel bad. I mean, when it's all said and done, Jericho made Hangman Page look like $1 million fucking dollars. Jericho tonight had really, in my mind at least, helped establish Adam Page as a future main event player, without a shadow of doubt. Great chemistry that the two of those guys have been having, off and on these past couple of months, and everything pretty much culminating in the first ever AEW World Champion being crowned tonight, right? But overall, I would definitely say AEW All Out gets a strong thumbs up. Fuck that whole Dave Meltzer 7 stars type of bullshit. It gets a strong thumbs up, no doubt about that. A little bit disappointed that those biscuits got fucked up though, man. I still got a bone to pick with AEW about that. Going to see what some of you guys got to say before we get ready to wrap up the stream, man. Let's also take a look at the polling results we got kicking in so far here. Polled you guys on Twitter. We're going to go now. And right now, I've got you guys saying that with regards to All Out, 7% of you gave it a thumbs down. 14% of you are giving it a staying in the middle, and 79% of you are giving it a thumbs up. And let's see what you guys are saying in the communities tab via YouTube. Remember, you can go on the YouTube channel and you can cast your vote that way. Click on the communities tab and cast your vote that way. Let's see what we got here. We've got 12% of you that are giving it a staying in the middle. There's 20% of you that did not watch it. Hopefully that 20% of you, and from the other percentage that didn't watch, hopefully, no, I don't even think, no, Twitter, there was no, was there? Let me go back one more time to Twitter. Oh, you know why? Oh, I forgot to add it. That's why. Yeah, I forgot to add. Yeah, I didn't watch on Twitter. Forgive me for that. It happens. But yeah, YouTube, I'm seeing 12% of you are staying in the middle. 20% of you did not watch it. 68% of you are giving it a thumbs up. So, good shit right there. Let's see what some of you guys are saying in the comments tab here. James, loving the stream. James pretty much showing his love for the stream. Appreciate you, loving the stream. Yes, do hit the like button. Shaba, I don't know why Pac had won, man. Hopefully what I laid out earlier, I hope that makes a lot of sense. I really, really do. And yeah, we can't forget the primetime players. I'm sorry, Crime Time, yeah, we can't forget about them. So put Crime Time in there, put Private Party, put the Street Profits. That's pretty much everybody, right? That's all the teams, right? Unless we're forgetting somebody else. Let's see here. Elite Squad, Casino Royale, pretty cool. Britt Baker should have won. Maybe it should have been Britt Baker, but man, yeah, is it safe to say Nyla Rose all the way? I mean, it really kind of feels like, and once again, you kind of got to look at it from a marketing standpoint, man. I mean, to put that title, now look, I don't know how good Rico's English is, if she can even talk English at all, right? I would need to, and I'll gladly do my homework, and I'll follow up Monday night, and we can touch base on that again, but it just really feels like from a marketing standpoint, when you go back and you look at the TV Guide cover spread or the Vanity, whatever the hell it was, where they had the AEW roster in their nice little civilian street clothes and everything, and hyping up AEW and everything. It just really feels like the way they've put out some of their promotional materials and everything like that, it really seems as though they've thought out carefully exactly where they want Nyla Rose, position-wise in the company, and the vibe really comes off as though Rose is going to be your first AEW champion. I can just imagine from a marketing, definitely a PR standpoint, how there's going to be a lot of buzz in the wrestling community. Hey, first ever, transgendered, officially. Make sure we put an asterisk, first ever officially, transgendered women's champion and everything, in wrestling at least. I can just see AEW really piggybacking off of that. Now, to some people that want to say, cheap exploitation and all this other stuff, I can agree with you to a point. I can agree with you to a point. But let me counter with this. Would you prefer it if it was Brandy Rhodes as your first ever AEW champion? If not Nyla Rose, a good honest mention would have been Awesome Khan. That would have been a good one as well. Let's see what else here. Scrolling back, looking at the other comments from earlier. So it looks like we're all caught up to speed. I like when we are caught up to speed. All right, so on that note, that is going to do it. How long was this stream? Let me see how we're doing on the time here. This feels like it might have been almost a 2-hour stream here. Yeah. So all that talk about CM Punk, you guys should be good though. I mean, there was really no way we could go into. Oh, and by the way, you notice we didn't get into CM Punk. He didn't do anything at AEW. There was nothing. Now look, I'm going to give you guys one more time just to make sure we didn't miss anything. Because sometimes, like I said, it ends on pay-per-view, via cable satellite. Maybe something had went down on Fight TV or whatever. And I'm not seeing anything. About Chris Jericho. Now, I do see some stuff as far as backstage goes. I do want to give you guys this update here. So after AEW had finished up, there was a AEW post show. It featured Chris Jericho, Adam Page, and Pac. After Jericho won the AEW Championship against Page, he celebrated backstage. Jericho had noted that nobody is celebrating for him or thanking him. And he ended up going back and forth with the Young Bucks about becoming the champ. Made fun of the people as he went to his dressing room, which was empty, to celebrate on his own. Page came out next to talk with the media, and he got interrupted by Pac, who said a few words to Page and launched a water bottle at him before being asked to leave by Christopher Daniels. Pac and Page were initially scheduled, remember, they were initially scheduled to face each other at AEW's Double or Nothing, but supposedly creative differences had put that match to a halt, so safe to say this feud is back on now. Pac saying, and I quote, "I'll be honest with you, it broke my little heart to see you lose tonight." Well, actually, no, if we're going to do this as far as quoting what Pac said, let's do it in his voice, yeah? "I'll be honest with you, it broke my little heart to see you lose tonight. But unfortunately for yourself, me and you, well, we have some unfinished business. So let me tell everybody the real reason I returned to AEW. Revenge." Alright. Also, Pac has spoke with Jen Decker about defeating Kenny Omega. Pac said since he beat Omega at All Out, he can pretty much do whatever he wants in AEW. So those were pretty much your main bullet points from the AEW post show. No CM Punk. We try to tell you guys, we try to prepare you and everything, but some of you guys want to feel the way you want to feel. It is all good, man. It's all good. All right, we're going to stick a fork in and call it DONE done. For you Patreon members, I will be checking out NXT UK TakeOver. I will be watching that. I don't think I'll be watching it tonight. I kind of feel as though I'll probably watch it maybe tomorrow or Sunday morning, or maybe Sunday late afternoon. And after I get done watching it, I'll definitely throw up the upload, given a post show only on Patreon. Won't be able to access it anywhere else, giving my thoughts about the TakeOver event. And then Monday, we'll be back here with a new RCWR show soon as WWE World goes off the air. In the meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you may have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you enjoy getting your podcasts. We're pretty much all over the place. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Appreciate those of you that stayed up a little bit late tonight checking out this post show. You enjoyed it. Hopefully made a new fan out of you. Subscribe, especially those of you via YouTube. And we'll do this again less than 48 hours, Monday night, after Raw goes off the air. Until next go round, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. And take care. My God, I can't believe I almost forgot. I did a video, for those of you that might be curious. There's a video on YouTube. Go search, it's there. I reviewed the new Jim Cornette graphic novel, Behind the Curtain, Real Pro Wrestling Stories. Go check it out. It's about, I think it's like 16 minutes long or something like that. I forgot the length, somewhere between 16 to 20. But it runs a little bit extra long because I give details about a contest that I'm doing right now where I'm giving away a copy of Jim Cornette's new book. So go check that out. It's on the YouTube channel, and hopefully you guys will be able to enter. It's all through Amazon. I've already paid for it, and like pretty much the magic number is whoever is going to be the 500th entrant. And so there's only just a handful of spots left. Maybe it can be you that can win it. So if you got Amazon and all that, or you want to, I don't even think you need to have Amazon. I just think, once you click on the link, you see it, and, you should be able to, I don't know how it's set up, but yeah, I got that set up. So check that out. You're welcome. That's going to do it. Much love. Y'all be safe. Be kind to one another. I will check you guys out next go round. Y'all take care.